We're gonna take a look at the different pound for pound rankings in boxing right now. A lot of fights happened recently and the pound for pound rankings have changed considerably. I'm also give you my own pound for pound list, and we're also gonna look at the Boxrec ranking of the most important divisions in boxing. Starting off with the Ring Magazine's ranking. For number 1 they have Terence Crawford, which I think is, considering the very dominant victory over Errol Spence, you could say that this was one of the most dominant performances in this kind of atmosphere. A showdown between two rivals, considering that you could argue that Crawford hadn't lost one round in this fight. It's crazy. And he beat his biggest rival and is now undisputed at welterweight. And Crawford previously held a lot of lightweight titles and then also was undisputed at light welterweight. For many years he's gone under the radar and he hasn't really had a big fan base to his disadvantage. And so it's now good to see that he's finally exploding to place number 1, and let's hope he has many other good showdowns and maybe other divisions, maybe moves up in weight, we'll see. At number 2 they have Naoya Inoue. He has recently become the undisputed at super bantamweight with his crazy knockout over Stephen Fulton, leaving all the American boxing fans to have no doubt that he is one of the pound for pound best. Many had previously talked negatively against him because he has been in fighting, like they said, against picked opposition, or like they usually do, are biased against many American fighters and say, if you want to be a real champion, you need to fight like the equivalent rival in America and beat him convincingly. And this is exactly what he has done now. Number 3 in the Ring Magazine, Alexander Usyk, who is now, after his 2 victories over Joshua and being undisputed at Cruiserweight, is looking to fight Daniel Dubois and probably gonna win this one. Sadly, the undisputed fight at heavyweight has long been awaited, and first we had mostly Wilder attacking Joshua for the fight, and now we have Tyson Fury avoiding the Alexander Usyk fight at all cost, rather fighting an UFC fighter and Francis Ngannou than Alexander Usyk, and looking to unify all titles at heavyweight. But that's not Usyk's fault, and Usyk is deserved in this pound for pound ranking over Fury because he has a better pound for pound ranking or achievement, meaning he has better achievement across all divisions than what Tyson Fury has done just at heavyweight. Number 4 to be expected, Canelo Alvarez, who is now back with PBC and now looking to fight the likes of the Charlo brothers, or one of them, and Benavides, and maybe, I think what they've planned is that they wanted Errol Spence to win against Crawford and have the winner, then Spence, move up and fight Canelo. But as we saw, Crawford really put a dent into his PBC plan, and we'll see who Canelo will fight in the future. Also, a Bivol rematch is maybe coming into the next 2 years or something. But the thing for Bivol, we have number 5, one of the current unified champions at light heavyweight. I would much rather have Bivol face Artur Beterbiev at light heavyweight and see who can become undisputed at light heavyweight. Number 6 you have Errol Spence, and at number 7 they have Devin Haney. 8 Gervonta Davis, Phil Davis, and is a bit ranked too highly here. Still hasn't really made himself on record to be here, to be honest. He's just beaten now Ryan Garcia, you could call him a YouTube boxer or something, but it was to be expected, this victory. And also Errol Spence, I would pick him under Haney. Haney has a better resume in pound for pound, but pound for pound is a very loose concept and based on a lot of more recent activity of the ones, and as they say, you're only as good as your last fight, so this reflects it. At number 9, Teofimo Lopez. He's also on a good comeback trail, now beating Josh Taylor. I wouldn't have thought that I didn't think he would beat Josh Taylor as easily as he did. As was quite a surprise. I actually picked Taylor to win against him, and he has also many other great victories now. At number 10, still Lomachenko is also here. Okay, maybe let's look another list in shortly at ESPN. ESPN's pound for pound list right now at the date of the 8th of August. Also number 1, Terence Crawford. Inoue 2, Usyk 3, Canelo 4, Bivol 5, yeah, and then 6 Tyson Fury. Of course, ESPN has Beterbiev or Beterbiev, however you pronounce him, in the list, as it's their fighter. Haney, then Shakur Stevenson. Right now wouldn't have him in the list, but he's definitely one for the future, sparring with Crawford all the time. And then here Davis. Okay. So this is me trying to list the current pound for pound list. Again, pound for pound is a very hard concept. Some base it on if all fighters would fight in one division, who would beat who, but that's not what I'm going after. I would much rather choose by recent activity and achievement overall in the division and try to compare that. But it's a completely subjective list. Like every pound for pound list, you can try give me your own pound for pound list in the comments and I will give you mine now. At number 1, I would agree, Terence Bud Crawford. I'd have him number 1 right now. And again, the dominance of his performance last time out. I've never seen somebody beat his career rival in this kind of fashion. It's a completely beating of Errol Spence. Then Inoue at number 2. I would also expect many big things from him in the future. And he might really become one of the next boxing stars because the Asian market is, I say, underrated. And they might produce many new boxing fans with that. Then at number 3 I also have Alexander Usyk. I'm very impressed with his willingness to fight the best and also beat the best, and a very good boxer. And number 4 I still have Canelo. Still he can't, just because he lost against Bivol. I think he was shooting too high against Bivol, to be honest. At a certain point the skill gap can even be closed by different weights, and it's just the height is just different. If you fight against such a big man, the skill becomes less and less, gets less and less through, because finding a bigger man, I mean, this is the reason why they have divisions. So I think it would have had a better chance at Cruiserweight actually against the more crude Makabu, the African champion. I think he could have beaten that guy because he, as you saw against his last outing, he lost, and with a bit of timing and long range boxing, I mean, Canelo's the smaller one, but I think he could bully this guy, but he chose to go at light heavyweight and lost. Number 5 I have Devin Haney. So Devin Haney is currently undisputed at lightweight, a very strong division with a lot of killers in the top 10 and top 15, let's be honest. Shakur Stevenson, also there, Gervonta Davis, Lomachenko, Kambosos, many guys there. Ryan Garcia is also here. Also Isaac Cruz. Many good guys in this division. Also Maxi Huge, who is said to have beaten Kambosos but gotten robbed recently. Also many strong people in this division, and being undisputed here, it really means something. So that's why I have Devin Haney at number 5. Number 6 I got Bivol. Bit lower than Canelo, even though he beat him, but he isn't even undisputed in his own division, so that's why I have Canelo overall over him. And number 7 I have maybe Tyson Fury, but who knows, it's a pound for pound list and it's only the top, let's say the top 5 spots are really important. And another ranking we could look at is the current pound for pound ranking of Boxrec, and look who they have got. So for all active fighters, pound for pound, Boxrec, here you can see they also have Terence Crawford. Then they have, maybe I should explain a bit how the ranking of Boxrec is vaguely based on, and how these fighters collect like, you can say, points in the system, and they are based on their probability of victory based on all of their current opponents in their ranking, in their record, to say. And they try to make it they make it as objective as possible by having like an algorithm, looking over it, updating it all the time. The problem with this kind of measuring is that if you have a lack of like missing records within different people, for example, like the old school fighters before the 1940s or even before 1900 or all these fighters, you don't really have the records, the full entire records of them. And what also becomes a problem is you have to think this all trickles down to giving those points, and this ranking is you don't just need a finished record of every known fighter, but you need a finished record of all not so known and unknown fighters, and like you need then a full record of every beaten opponent of this fighter. Like for example, you would have to rank John O'Sullivan accordingly. You would need first of all, you would need an entire list of all of his bouts throughout his entire career. Then you would need a correct and finished record of all of his opponents and also the opponents of them. And you can see where this will become a problem with many old fighters, and this we will later look on a pound for pound list of all time, and you can see how this puts many all-time fighters at a disadvantage. But now let's look at the current pound for pound ranking of Boxrec and how they have it. Number 1, Terence Crawford. As you can see across the board, he's now recognized as a pound for pound great, as a pound for pound number 1. Actually, right now, I would say this is definitely a future Hall of Famer. It's really an all-time great if you look at the skills and the ability and the ranking of Crawford. See who has beaten. He was frozen out a long time, but if you look at the ease of which Terence Crawford beat like the likes of Sean Porter or Kell Brook, and if you look at the Kell Brook fight, like many people at the time were shocked that he was knocked out by a jab, and they say like that he has a glass jaw and caught and then said that Kell Brook was not good. But then, if you now look at it in hindsight, Errol Spence was hit with the exact same punch and also found himself even on the floor. And it's also because Terence Crawford is like a converted southpaw, originally a right-hander, but trained in southpaw, and he also does all kind of switch hitting stuff. You can see the dominance he has in his performances. This guy could be somebody who could be named along the likes of Sugar Ray Leonard maybe in the future, let's see. But not if he retires right now, but if he keeps on winning like he is, definitely a Hall of Famer. Number 2, again, Saul Alvarez. Canelo Saul Alvarez. So again, number 2, Canelo. At number 2, they also have Canelo, a fighter for a long time. So you would jokingly say, if you want to bet money, every time you say Canelo on points, it doesn't matter against who. Canelo versus Joshua, I pick Canelo on points because this guy would, of course, get a lot of favorable treatment throughout his career, but that's normal for such a cash cow fighter. And of course, also a funny thing is he would be like the kind of guy you knock out and you get a draw or something like Golovkin found out. Not that he knocked him out, but Just a joke. Okay. He beat, like the amount of fighters Canelo beat in the as such a high level fight in the last few weeks, and not weeks, months and years, fighting more than twice a year and against world champion opposition. It's really something. I really believe that Canelo is not really looking too hard for the money right now, but rather looking to build his resume and his legacy. That's why he's always trying to really push himself on, always looking to fight the best. And you can recommend it for such a pound for pound champion. Number 3, Boxrec actually has Bivol at number 3, probably solely on beating Canelo, as we can guess, because as of right now he hasn't developed this kind of a resume. I mean, who has he beaten? He has a victory over Jean Pascal, Joe Smith Jr., and his last victory he fought in Abu Dhabi against Gilberto Ramirez and had a very, very good performance here. And yeah, I think he needs to become undisputed first before claiming a spot in any kind of pound for pound ranking. But again, it's because of the way the algorithm works in Boxrec that he has gotten such a high ranking, because he just beat Canelo a while back. Again, Inoue again after his victory over Stephen Fulton with number 4. And interestingly, they still have Gennady Golovkin at number 5. Don't think this reflects any of the current ability of Golovkin, who was lost against Canelo and really and truly lost against Devenchenko in 2019, and also had not so good performances. He beat this one Japanese fighter in a very impressive fashion, but that style was made for Golovkin to beat on. Number 6, Gervonta Davis. Again, I think too high ranked for a guy who doesn't really have the resume besides his last fight. He is also looking on retiring, and don't think this will look all too good for him in the future don't think he will become a Hall of Famer. He would need a victory over Devin Haney or somebody on that level to get his name mentioned in there. Shakur Stevenson, okay, again, needs to fight more people and he's still on the come up. Haney at number 8 in Boxrec, Aerospence number 9, and Regis Prograis at number 10, not so good ranking. Yeah, you can see it's a bit random, this list, actually. Not random, but there's some like contenders over champions and so on. Also, what is Lee Wood doing here in the number 20 or something? Boxrec is a nice instrument, but they're not so good for the pound for pound rankings. Another thing I wanted to look at is at the current rankings of Boxrec and of many of the more important divisions in boxing. So let's look at the more interesting one. I want to look at the Boxrec lists of active heavyweights. It's the division I would know most about, and probably know most of the people in the top 50, I hope so. Top 40. At number 1, they've picked Tyson Fury, which is the consensus of many fans, that Tyson Fury is the best heavyweight right now. I would agree. Still, we can't let Tyson Fury rest on this spot as he's doing right now, because many claim he is the best of his generation, even though he hasn't beaten most of the worthy contenders, like, or other champions, to say that, is Alexander Usyk. He needs to fight Usyk, win, lose, or draw. He needs a fight against Usyk, even if he loses against the likes of Dubois, or who is currently his mandatory challenger, and they're gonna fight soon, or the next challenger like Hrgovic or Zhang, the Chinese heavyweight, which is also an interesting addition. He also needs a fight against Joshua, which he really needs for his legacy, to also claim himself as the best British heavyweight of his generation. And let's see, I really would think that he would beat the likes of Usyk and Joshua, but I think he is gonna, if he stays on and keeps boxing, I think he will eventually lose against one of these, because there are really strong contenders coming up at heavyweight. It's a very strong division. People talk about boxing right now is in the rut and all these weak champions, and look at heavyweight. Look no further than heavyweight. There's much to see here. Many great contenders. It's actually, you could compare the situation to like a bit of the 1990s, a bit. From the amount of upsets and great fights you have. At again, number 3, we have seen Anthony Joshua. Wouldn't pick him at number 3 right now, but okay. Bit of a weird decision by Boxrec, but again, it's based on the record, and Anthony Joshua has actually a very strong record for heavyweights right now. I don't think he's the best skilled or smartest fighter right now, but he really wanted to be undisputed back when he had the titles, but ultimately wasn't given the opportunity to fight for undisputed. His last fight wasn't very impressive against Franklin, but we will see actually against his how he will do against Robert Helenius. A little build-up fight. I think it's actually a better pick for him than against Wyatt for a build-up fight. But we'll see. Against Wyatt, he is... I don't know what's going on with Dylan Wyatt, why he is now popped dirty on a PAD test or something like that, and is now not going to fight Joshua, but okay. Then Andy Ruiz, at number 4, it's maybe also a bit ranked too highly, to be honest, because he hasn't done anything since his victory over Luis Ortiz, and he also doesn't now, like, his work ethic is a bit in the question, because after the second loss against Joshua was really a sorry sight for him, but how can you give up your belt in the training camp? It's strange stuff from Ruiz. And number 5, they have the Dylan Wyatt. Dylan Wyatt is really at the end of his career. It's a now or never for him, and unfortunately for him, he has now been caught again with illegal substance, and I don't think he will get this chance again. So I think he's pretty much done, to be honest, because of his chin hit. Once you hit Dylan Wyatt with an uppercut, he is finished. Dubois is here now, also ranked number 6. Probably because of this fight he's going to have with Usyk, I think. Really and truly, I think there's some, often if you see people in Boxrec or in some other rankings really jump from 20 to, I don't know, spot number 6 or something like that, most of the time is some promoter is sanctioning or making sure that the opponent of his fighter is getting ranked, and then people can say, yeah, look, he's fighting a top 10 guy or something. And you can see that's going on with Dubois. He's now suddenly ranked over Wilder, but still, okay. Then Wilder also hasn't done anything since he has beaten Helenius. And we'll see what the comparison between his performance and Joshua's will be. And hopefully this will lead to Wilder and Joshua meeting at the end of the year. I mean, this really would be the best fight at heavyweight this year probably, because we won't get Fury Usyk anytime soon. But Joshua probably will take like 7 or 9 rounds to knock out Helenius. I don't see him knocking him out in 1 round. If he tried to do that, that would be a mistake, because Helenius is still a puncher. Luis Ortiz, strangely still ranked at number 8, based on him being 70 years old or something. Then number 9, Joseph Parker. Still, he has also fallen off quite big since the Josh loss, really, and hasn't really recaptured anything of note. Also lost to Joe Joyce, who I'm actually missing in this ranking. I don't know where he is. Chisora also at the end of his career. Then the Chinese one, the Shili Shang, or however you pronounce him. So also older guy, but this guy can fight. I can tell you that. He's a southpaw. And he beat up Joe Joyce, who really is a good fighter, and not so much a good boxer, but he can like walk you down or box you down in a George Foreman fashion. He doesn't hit hard, but like he's very big and he won't move, and you can hit him with your best shot and he won't move. But against Chang, he was nearly knocked out and then pulled out of the fight, or waved off by the ref, I think. Martin Bakole, also again on the come up. Herkovich is gonna be one of the future. Herkovich and Anderson are really gonna be one of the big next champions from talent wise, if you look at what they can do. Especially Anderson, judging it right now, but Anderson is gonna take a bit more time to develop, and I think Herkovich is good to go right now. I think if you would have put Herkovich right now against Joshua, I think he would win, to be honest. He's that kind of dangerous and hungry, and Joshua in the current state wouldn't beat him, but it's more of a mental thing, I think. Frank Sanchez is also interesting, the Cuban fighter who has now come up out of the FA Jackpot fight and was looking to call out Tyson Fury, but again he was busy fighting UFC fighters. I think you've heard that one before. Gassiev also came up like Usyk from Cruiserweight, really dangerous puncher, and we'll see how he'll develop at heavyweight, but I think he could be there for a few entertaining fights, but I don't think he will become champion. Then Makhmudov, also some Russian guy. I'm not so very impressed by him. Then Lerina, I don't know that one. I think he's some kind of a journeyman. Otto Wallen, we all know, is also on the come up. Also a nice contender. Carlos Takam, it's a good journeyman. And Tony Yoka. And okay, now here we see Jaron Miller. This is still the juicy beef. Robert Helenius, yeah, as we see now fighting Joshua. Also at the end of his career. His victory over the Polish fighter Konecki really was something. He pulled out of nowhere. The matchmakers, they really thought that Konecki would make easy work out of Helenius, but that wasn't the case. That was a great upset if you saw that. and he beat him twice, dominant. And Fabio Wortley is also managed by Dillian White, also on the come up. I think this is what the future of White is more likely to be, as some kind of a manager or somebody who he's good at finding strong-minded contenders. Another thing we could look at is shortly at the other divisions. What we have here, Boxrec at number 1. I mean, that's too highly rated, to be honest. Also, he's also, I think, nearly 40 or something. Or 39, as we see here. Chris William-Smith just beat Lawrence Okoli in one of the most boring fights you will ever see. Macabo, who got beat by Boxrec, and Richard Riekpo. He should be fighting like one of the top 3 guys, and he's maybe one of the more entertaining one of those cruiserweights. Ramirez, the guy who fought Bivol last time out, is also ranked as cruiserweight. But for the future of the cruiserweight division, I think this guy is who you're looking at. He beat Marius Breeders in his last fight in a very good fashion, and he looks to be, if you ask me, the future of the cruiserweight division. I don't know why Boxrec didn't rank him accordingly. Again, light heavyweight is interesting. You have, I think Beterbiev is fighting Callum Smith next, I think. You have Bivol, number 1. Gvostek is on the, Alexander Gvostek, also an Ukrainian fighter, is on the comeback. Ramirez is also here ranked. Yeah, I think number 1 and number 2 should fight, just Artur Beterbiev and Dmitry Bivol. It's actually, I've seen many people who would pick Beterbiev against Bivol, but we'll see who wins that. I think Bivol should outbox the much older Beterbiev. Okay, who we got at middleweight? They still have Gennady Golovkin here at number 1, but he's really looking for his last 2 fights, I think, and then going out of the sport. Liam Smith, and he's going to rematch Eubank Jr. sometime, and we'll see what happens there. But I think Liam Smith is Eubank really found like his kryptonite in Smith. This kind of pressure fighter and really accurate with his shots, and he's gonna lose again. At welterweight, we saw Terence Crawford face Errol Spence in a very strong division also. And one of the reasons this fight suddenly may have happened is because Jerome Boots Ennis is on a bit before a title shot, and Errol Spence's team might have been warned from fighting him, and he would have been mandatory next, so maybe this is why the fight suddenly happened. And since the car crash, Errol Spence really hasn't been looking that great, and no, actually not. Surprisingly, Errol Spence really looked good after his car crash, which was very surprising. He then had crazy good performance against Eudenis Ugas. I mean, this reminded me of Heckler, to be honest. And I actually favored Spence to beat Crawford. I mean, the car crash made me hesitant, but I think the way he dismantled Ugas' defense and made this counterpuncher really go in his shell and beat him up, that's really impressed me at the pressure style of Spence. And a great jab. I thought he would be much more successful or even beat Crawford that way, but in the second round it was clear that this was not the case. Also great victories over Danny Garcia and Sean Porter. I think the accident happened somewhere after the Sean Porter fight, and then Danny Garcia was the first one after his car crash. Okay, this might be the last division we're looking at. At number 1, they have currently Gervonta Davis. They ranked in over the champion in Boxrec, Devin Haney, but this again is because of the system of Boxrec where they would calculate the chance of victory, and now that he has beaten one of the other guys, actually it doesn't make sense. I mean, Devin Haney should be number 1 because Lomachenko should have he has a much better resume than Ryan Garcia, so I'm not sure why they would rank him to be number 1. It should be Devin Haney, who has now all the titles at lightweight. They also picked Shakur Stevenson over Devin Haney. Interesting. But this is also a very strong division. So if you're looking for some fights in the future and you're looking to get back into boxing and watch some current boxing fights, you really should be looking to very closely at the heavyweight division, very closely, or at the top of the cruiserweight division. There might be some great stuff. I think Supermiddleweight also has some good fights coming, with Canelo against Benavidez in the future. Maybe you get to see Demetrius Andrade fight some other guy, maybe get some chance, but probably not. Welterweight is also a great division to watch out for. Let's see what Terence Crawford does next. And also the lightweight is really something you can get back into and watch the title fights of Haney, Lomachenko. Watch to see what the likes of Composers and Gervonta Davis are doing next. I almost forgot that I also wanted to look at the all-time pound-for-pound list of Boxrec. And one of the things that comes to mind is that maybe it was, I think, a year ago or so, when I last looked at this list, they had Esso Charles and I think Henry Armstrong at number 2 and Esso Charles at number 1, which was surprising at the time. Now it seems that they have somehow updated the list, and the likes of Esso Charles is nowhere to be seen. And now we have Sugar Ray Robinson at number 1, like most boxing historians would agree. Floyd Mayweather at number 2, which is also interesting. But I think this must have been somewhat of a conscious decision to pick Robinson at number 1. I don't think that the records of both of these guys would have changed dramatically in the last year or so. Also don't think that even if some of the records of their opponents would have come up, then we still would have seen Esso Charles here somewhere. Strange stuff. Either way, Sugar Ray Robinson with a tremendous record, beautiful style to watch, and went on for a long time as a pro, 25 years, and one of the greatest. And what was also changed is that they picked that now Floyd Mayweather Jr. is now at number 2. Is also, I think this doesn't have to be a conscious changing of the rankings. I think this was somewhat because of Canelo, because Floyd Mayweather has beaten the likes of Canelo, and who has gone on to become much greater than at the time he was when Mayweather beat him. And because of the algorithm that Boxrec has and who calculates the opponent's chance to victory, this would increase his potential to as a pound for pound fighter tremendously. Also unseen, Jimmy McLaren at number 3. Haven't seen all too much fights of him, but we can see that he has now been put in place number 3. Also surprising, to be honest. And also a candidate where a lot of people, like famously Teddy Atlas, pick Henry Armstrong to be number 1 because of purely resume. Monzon, number 5. And also Pacquiao, number 6. Number 7, Canzoneri. They actually have Carlos Ortiz at number 8. Then number 9, they have Roberto Duran. Number 10, they have marvelous Marvin Hagler. Yeah, I think this all-time list, it really shows that they are somewhat very random sometimes, this Boxrec ranking, but it's great to look at what a supposedly objective computer or algorithm would come up with in a ranking. Because the strange things that are always like here, you see Canelo has moved up to place 24, and this has then as a result boosted Mayweather's ranking to place number 2. I still don't know where they've put Ezra Charles. Maybe I can't find him here. So, and it seems like they've put him out of the top 50, which is strange because they had him at number 1 previously. I don't know what happened. Also here number 13, like they have now put Terence Crawford. Yeah, it has some biases, this system, I think. Again, with what we have talked about before, that all-time fighters, the resume might not be complete or somewhat of that kind, or the opponent's resume is not complete, and all this matchmaking database is not complete and so on. Interesting that they pick Joe Calzaghe over Joe Louis, but again, it's just a computer system. It's not perfect. Maybe let's look at number 2. Oh, there we have Muhammad Ali, place 51. And under there, like 53, we have Gennady Golovkin. It's a bit random, but it's nice to look at sometimes. It's a fun thing. So this was that. Maybe for those of you who want to get back into watching some of the more active pro fighters and want to look what fights are on and what's going on in the future of boxing fights, this is a page that I can recommend to you. Is TalkSports, their page on boxing schedule, upcoming fights, and I can also recommend some of the TalkSport interviews with Simon Jordan, for example. I think he sometimes does a good job. Then here, for example, you can scroll down and you see what's up next. And here we see August the 12th, Anthony Joshua here fights. You can scroll down and see who fights who, what's upcoming. This is also an interesting one. Beterbiev versus Callum Smith. It's probably pick Beterbiev to demolish Smith, but you never know. Smith, I've seen him land some decent body shots and left hooks, but ultimately I think he will be too passive and get mauled by the much stronger Beterbiev. Then Usyk defends his titles here. This is the guy. This is a guy to watch, and Jared Anderson is a very good upcoming contender in heavyweight. For a finish, I want to ask you what is your top 5 or top 10 pound for pound list of the current boxing era, and what are the boxing weights where you're looking most forward to the title fights? Another point I wanted to raise, and we'll maybe get to this if there's interest in another video, is this a current crop of boxing actually a new golden age of boxing, like the 1970s or 1980s at the lighter weights, or the 1990s where you had amazing crop of heavyweights? I actually believe that this is going to be maybe the strongest come up of boxing talents in all the divisions that we will have for a long time. I think maybe in 10 years or so, people will talk about this and say how great they were and how bad the current division is and so on. And we'll see how that plays out, because the people recognize something really good only when it's gone. So I think people like boxing fans tend to be very negative, and I think they should stop being that and focus on the current events. We have many great things to look out for. Thank you for watching, or better said, listening. And the next video is probably gonna be a video about boxing IQ, like what is boxing IQ, which fighters have a good boxing IQ, and after that I will more focus on the Patterson and Dempsey series that I'm gonna try to evolve and bring forth. Thank you for watching, and I'll see you next time.